got no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break.
GervontaDavis and Terence Crawford have taken their beef from words to visuals after Davis interrupted Crawford's Instagram live session.
Hopefully I fight Ryan again. If they not on some whole shit, I text that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean?
From the looks of it, things may soon turn physical. Before that happens, Gervonta Tank Davis decided to attack Terence Crawford after Crawford trolled him on X, formerly Twitter. As expected, Crawford eventually cut him off, but not before Davis challenged him to a fight, telling him to stop being a keyboard warrior. Davis began by calling Crawford a 40-year-old beggar, just as he had done on X. He also claimed that Crawford shouldn't celebrate his ties with the Saudis, as he has been the one declining their calls, supposedly because he never wants to be at anyone's mercy.
You start talking that up. Stop it. Knock it off, cuz. Stop it.
Crawford didn't have much to say in response. He simply told Davis to fight Shakur Stevenson's son or Keyshawn Davis instead. Davis fired back, saying, "I'll come for their big brother instead. I'll come for you." Crawford sharply replied, where many of the sport's top stars and legends gathered to recognize the best in boxing for 2024. The event took place at the Old Royal Naval College in London, with a guest list featuring a who's who of boxing: Alexander Usyk, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Lennox Lewis, and many others. Ring Magazine, now owned by Alal Sheikh, posted an iconic image from the event on their social media accounts. Davis took the same image from Matchroom Boxing's Instagram account and added a caption laced with profanity, slamming Alal Sheikh and everyone in attendance. Why didn't they invite everybody? Davis questioned in his post. But they only invited the ones they deal with. Get out of here. Stop bum-eating. Look at that little rat Eddie thinking he came up on something. Now tell them to all fight each other since they have a heavy roster.
You know why I said that? Because he was already talking like he was back in Devin. Like, Devin is my guy. Like, all right, cool. Y'all want me to fight over there?
They want to act like this guy is good for boxing when he's not even good at anything, Davis exclaimed. If he's so great, why isn't he building up the fighters from his own country? This guy knows nothing about boxing, yet this is who they're turning to. Nothing but bum-eaters. He then took aim at fighters who have gone to Saudi Arabia to secure massive paydays through Alal Sheikh's Riyadh season cards. LOL. They have to go over there to make money, and they still do, Davis said. I sell right here.
Send me some first.
Right.
I don't got to fight. You know why fighters going over there? Because they can't sell here. I can sell here.
There they go, heading over there, getting their asses kicked, fighting in front of a total of 19 people. But because they're rich, it's cool? Davis remarked. Quite honestly, this approach doesn't look good on Davis. While it's understandable that he chooses not to fight in Saudi Arabia, that's his prerogative, publicly slamming other fighters for networking and making business. Moves seems more like jealousy than genuine concern for the state of the sport. Terence Crawford had the perfect response. Shortly after, he tweeted, "I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring Magazine gala," followed by a laughing emoji. He went on to mention that he remembers a time when he wasn't invited either, but by then the wheels were already in motion. This prompted Davis to fire back by quoting Crawford's post, "And I still make more than you,"
I think
he continued.
a lot of people
Y'all
can relate to my story.
think he's chasing greatness? He's not. That's just what he has to do to make decent money. Clowns. Crawford, however, had a brutal clapback. The first thing a dumb rich person says to another rich person is, "I got more money than you. I bet you I own more investments than you, and I don't owe $1 in taxes. You can't buy anything I can't buy that I want, and that's a fact. Let's see whose money lasts the longest, smart guy." Outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, Terence Crawford has earned significantly more than Davis, thanks to his bouts with Madrimov and Spence, while Davis's recent fights have been against Frank Martin, Hector Luis Garcia, and the upcoming bout with Roach. Crawford doubled down. By the way, little guy, don't speak too soon because you definitely are not making more than me. Fight who you've been fighting. That's why you're talking about fighting Ryan again. To prove his point, Crawford reposted a message from Mike Coppinger, who highlighted the earnings difference between the two fighters. The war between them continues, at least on Davis's side, as he has posted multiple criticisms of Crawford, only to delete them shortly after. In the past, their rivalry even got so heated that Crawford discussed the possibility of an improbable bout against Davis during an appearance on The Breakfast Club, a popular morning radio show on New York's Power 105.1 FM. Crawford has never been beaten, let alone stopped, but that didn't stop Davis from predicting that he would knock out the three-weight world champion if they ever fought. 47, I tap that chin, and you know he's going to sleep. He's got no chance. Round 6, Davis declared. In an interview with Fight Hype, Crawford, also known as Bud, laughed off Davis's comments, explaining that Davis was campaigning at lightweight for a reason. When you look at all the great fighters, they get called out by everybody from different weight classes, so it's nothing that surprises me. Everybody says what they're going to do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason. I don't see him coming up to 147 to face me anytime soon. He's just talking, Crawford told co-hosts Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy during his appearance on The Breakfast Club.
I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
147?
You know, he has confidence in himself. He believes he can do that because he's been knocking out all the fighters he's faced in the ring. No knock to Tank, but there are definitely levels to this. If he comes up to 147 thinking he's just going to knock Terence Crawford out, he's got another thing coming. Davis dropped Garcia twice, once in the second round and again in the 7th, to win their Showtime pay-per-view main event on April 22nd at T-Mobile Arena. Crawford, 35, has defeated each of his 8 welterweight opponents.
I tap that chin, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know he
ain't
is.
got no chance.
I already know he is.
Said no chance.
I got round 5.
Sent Spence to the canvas for the first time in Spence's 10-year pro career during the 2nd round and caused 2 more knockdowns in the 7th round en route to a 9th-round technical knockout victory. Omaha's Crawford stands nearly 3 inches taller than Davis, who has knocked out 93% of his pro opponents. Crawford contended that he wouldn't receive credit for defeating Davis because their high-profile fight would require Davis to move up 2 weight classes. However, he admitted that the purse would be big enough to make him consider the fight if it were offered.
GervontaDavis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to...
I'll stay at 147 for him because that's a big money fight, said Crawford, who is also a former WBO lightweight champion. It's a big money fight, you know. Yeah, but then what is everybody going to say? He was too small. Nobody is going to give me credit. They're going to say, oh man, you beat up a little guy that fights at 135. Tank's like 5'5". He's a little guy. Yeah, he can punch, but in his weight class. Not saying he can't punch in any weight.
To be great. He can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, you know, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him.
Surprisingly, Crawford is now considering making the same jump in weight that he once trolled Davis for. Addressing his achievements and future endeavors on the Joe Rogan Experience, Crawford discussed potential bouts against Canelo Alvarez. It's great. This is my era, and I'm taking it. Ain't nobody gonna stop me, he said. Now that I've switched gears, I know I want to fight Canelo. I've always said, that's a big step. That's a big step. But for a guy to go up 3 weight classes, from 147 to 168 pounds, and to win, to become undisputed, wow. What can they say? 3-time undisputed champion. the smaller fighter going up 3 weight divisions to conquer one of the baddest.
I'm up there.
You got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him come and touch it.
Ooh. Wow.
Man.
Fight veteran isn't afraid of jumping divisions. I would definitely have to gain weight, but I just believe in my abilities, Crawford said. Canelo is not a big guy. He's 5'8". He's muscular, but as far as height, nah, that wouldn't be anything. We'd have to see, but I think it could happen. To be honest, I think that's the biggest fight in boxing if he beats Charlo. Initially, Canelo dismissed the idea, particularly after his victory over Jermell Charlo. Speaking to TUDN and Azteca Deportes, he said Crawford wasn't on his radar. However, Canelo has since hinted that if the financial incentives from Saudi Arabia are substantial, he would entertain the challenge. Interview 12 days after Crawford changed his stance, saying he'd move up 3 divisions to fight Canelo at 168 pounds. The once disinterested Mexican superstar softened his stance as
from 147 to 168, and the win, become undisputed. Wow.
I want to go up to 68.
Scene.com, Canelo said he'd be open to facing the undisputed welterweight champion if Crawford was serious. Look, I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, I always say that. No disrespect to him, Alvarez told BoxingScene.com. But you know, sometimes it's a little crazy. People talk about how I faced Charlo, who's 5'11", and big. Now they're talking about me fighting Crawford, a fighter at 147 pounds who is even smaller than Charlo. That doesn't make sense.
So who would you fight at 68? Canelo?
If he win, or wow. Charlo, the winner.
Wow. That would be crazy.
I want to be 3-time.
At the end of the day, I wouldn't get credit for facing Crawford, no matter what. But you never know. You never know in boxing. I will go up and down and fight everybody out there, so it's possible. Why not? It's possible. If it makes sense, I'm down to do it. I don't care who is there. I am always ready to fight everybody. Initially, Alvarez rejected the idea of facing Crawford because Crawford wanted the fight at a catchweight of 160 or 158 pounds. He also felt that beating the smaller Crawford wouldn't add much to his legacy. However, after hearing Alvarez's latest comments, Crawford tweeted, Canelo versus Crawford is definitely by far the biggest fight in boxing. Crawford later clarified that he would indeed pack on 21 pounds and move up to 100.
You know, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan. Like I say, if it makes sense, maybe.
I know I want to fight Charlo, but if he loses to Canelo, I've always said, that's a big step. That's a big step, Crawford reiterated. But for a guy to go up 3 weight classes from 147 to 168 and to win, to become undisputed. Wow. A fight between Alvarez and Crawford may not be as far-fetched as it seems. Both fighters are tied to Al Haymon's premier boxing champions, and physically, they aren't that different. Both stand at 5'8", and Crawford even sports a 3.5-inch reach advantage. Alvarez began his career in 2005 at 139 pounds, while Crawford started in 2007 at 137 pounds.
Disputed.
I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he needs to enjoy his fight. Okay, he deserves it. He deserves it. I like Spence, but
Alvarez has been competing at larger weights for a longer time. He last fought at 147 lbs in 2011-54, lbs in 2016, 160 lbs in 2019. He has also fought twice at 175 pounds. If size doesn't matter to Crawford, then a super fight could be in store for 2024. Trainer Andre Rosier is skeptical. I don't like it, Rosier said. Canelo hasn't been rattled by anybody, and he's been in there with some big punchers. If it's about money, that's a different story. But Crawford's legacy is already being cemented in a fantastic way, and I'd hate to see it tarnished by trying to do too much. Meanwhile, junior welterweight Adrian Broner called Terence Crawford.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is...
Who lost to Blair Cobbs on June 7th at the Seminole. Hard Rock. Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, was asked who he believed was the best fighter in boxing. If I'm being honest, Terence Crawford, Broner said in Las Vegas. If we're speaking strictly about boxing, Terence Crawford is numbers one for me.
Possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose situation for you. Do you think he's too small?
But Broner's declaration came with an asterisk. If we're talking about that guy, the #1 attraction, then it's GervontaDavis, Broner said. When you go to a tank fight, it's not just a fight. It's an event. Broner has known Davis since he was 14 years old. Despite Davis's success as one of boxing's biggest names, Broner noted that Davis still treats him with the same respect. He always had the talent, Broner said. You know why I respect him the most? Because I know a lot of people who would have taken the position.
That's my dude. That's my dude. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll say it a million times over. I don't like it.